Origin Code Academy. Our job is to get you one.
Welcome to Origin Talks. Today we have a former student, Mike Evlantev, in here today. Thanks for coming out, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
So let me ask you this. How long have you been out of Origin? When did you graduate?
I graduated on April 1st of 2015.
Okay.
16,
and then take me through your job search. What did that look like?
The job search was a very difficult process. I was able to find a job 55 days after graduation.
Okay.
The process actually started before I graduated. I wanted to, make sure that I have a solid resume, that I have a solid plan to, plan of attack, so to speak, to capture as many applications that I can and send out as many of those applications as I can to, get my numbers up.
Is there anything you would have done differently?
Honestly, yes. I've learned that there are a lot of job posts that are really easy to detect once you kind of, learn to have an eye for that, that I would just avoid in the future. It's, out of state jobs, if a recruiter is not, within your area, then it's unlikely that they're gonna, help you out. So I would definitely stay away from things like that. And I would definitely get more involved with recruiters that are in my area, like actually, interview them as a person that I would, hire to find me a job. So like with that kind of attitude, I would approach it. Okay.
And so tell me about, you got your job, you showed up the first day, and like what happened the first day, first week?
So it was a really fun couple of days because I was hired, my official starting date was May 25th of 2016, and we had our lease starting on June 1st. So we had a week of bouncing around rented conference rooms around Escondido. And yeah, it was basically my employer, my CTO, and my direct boss kind of explaining me like how the application worked and showing me the ropes. And 90% of it was just going over my head. I did not know what was going on, what they were talking about, even though like it all looked familiar. It was a C# Visual Studio application. I mean, nothing should have thrown me off, but it was just so many new things that I, like this is it. This is my job. This is going to be my work, and it kind of like threw me off and scared me a little. But yeah, at the end, once I kind of have this rule for myself is like if I stare at the code long enough, it'll start making sense. Like that's kind of what it comes down to. Like if nothing makes sense, I just look at it, I just try things, and then once something works, it kind of snowballs after that, and everything falls into place.
How long of an adjustment period was it from that time it went over your head to, okay, I'm less, like I kind of feel like I know what I'm doing now?
I think I was like 2 or 3 tickets in. Like I really had my handheld during like the first ticket, definitely. Like I feel blessed that I had a really good team of guys that kind of helped me out and understood where I was coming from. That I was fairly new and
Can you explain what a ticket is?
Yeah, sure. A ticket is basically an assignment that describes what needs to be done within an application that you are responsible for.
How long does each ticket generally take?
Each ticket takes me roughly anywhere from those 2 weeks up to like 5 weeks. So I definitely go over the limits that I'm allowed to, but since my bosses are very flexible and understanding, they want to make sure that the product is up to par and high quality. They don't rush me. They allow me to take that time.
Okay. Do you feel like you're learning just as much as when you're in the code school? Do you feel like at a certain point you like know what you're doing? Give us like an experience of, or an expectation for the students for the first 6 months of work.
So the first 6 months I think are going to be the hardest. The primary focus for someone newly hired at after Origin would be to maintain a positive outlook and just have that attitude of, okay, it's hard, but it's going to get easier. And literally after that 6-month mark, that's when I started feeling more comfortable. That's when I could actually explain things to people that came after me or joined the team. So it was fairly difficult it's important to make sure that you keep your head up high and try to focus on the task at hand and complete it. You have all the resources that you may need. You have the internet. You can always look for answers. You can turn to a team member as long as you don't work for people that don't like interactions like that. But yeah, you should have all the resources that you need to get the job done.
What kind of previous experience did you have before you got to Origin, or what were you working on before you got here?
I had a day job working for a guy that sold stuff online, and I really liked that idea, and I basically created an online store of my own. That was kind of my only exposure to the technical world. I had zero coding experience. I did not know what SQL stood for or what C#.net was, and so it was no experience at all.
What were your biggest concerns before the class and as you went through the class about being able to transition into tech?
Well, the biggest concern was, my end goal was to get a job, and I did not know if this would be sufficient. And as I, started the program and started going through the course, it showed me that you guys are, invested in my success, that you not only care that I sit through the class, but you also were concerned with me succeeding outside of the class and attending meetups and talking to people, making sure that I'm out there, my name's out there, and people know that I'm on the market for a job. You guys basically saved my ass, is what I'm trying to say. Yeah.
Is there any personal stories of when you went through something hard either during the class or when you're like, oh shit, at your job, that people like the oh shit stories that turned out good?
You know what, it's just part of my personality. I try to avoid those oh shit stories. I try to go into things with a plan and with the right attitude, and usually that helps me avoid those stories. So I can't really, I didn't have any major things that went wrong during the program or the job search process.
That's all for today's Origin Talks with Mike. Thanks for coming out.
Thank you for having me.